This is Johnny Naranjo, a sports commentator from the Dominican Republic. The Dodgers lineups is as follows. Batting first and playing second base, Dave Lopez. Batting second in center field, Ken Landro, who played last winter in the Dominican Baseball League. Batting third in left field, Dusty Baker. Batting fourth at first base, Steve Garvey, who played 2 winters in the Dominican League with the Licey Baseball Club. Batting fifth from the Escogido Baseball Club and the LA Dodgers, Pedro Guerrero playing at third base. Batting sixth, catching Mike Socia, who after 2 winters in the Dominican League is going back this year. Batting seventh in right field, Ron Renicky. Batting eighth at shortstop, Darrell Thomas. And batting ninth, the pitcher, right-handed pitcher, Ted Power, who won 18 games, lost 3 with the Albuquerque Baseball Club.
Nolan Ryan takes the mound for the Astros here in the Dome. Here's the defense behind him. Jose Cruz in left, Tony Scott in center, Terry Poole in right field. Art Howe at third base, Craig Reynolds at short, Phil Garner at second base, Harry Spillman starting at first base, Al Ashby the catcher, and Nolan Ryan along with Sandy Koufax, only 2 men in baseball history to have pitched 4 no-hitters. And Joe, they tell us that 3 or 4 times this year when Nolan Ryan came out of the bullpen from warming up before a ball game, he had no-hit stuff.
I tell you, anytime he walks on the mound, you have to kind of look for it because he just throws that hard. His strikeouts, as you look at his other stats, 9 and 5, he has averaged 9.5 strikeouts per 9 innings pitched. Here is Davey Lopes, 5 home runs, 17 runs batted in, hitting at .211. San Francisco 3.5 in the National League West. Reynolds, 1 out.
I wonder if Reynolds is having some trouble with his arm. He threw that from down under that time.
Here's Landro, 6 home runs, 39 runs batted in, hitting at .251. It's pulled foul. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Landro, who had the longest hitting streak in the major leagues last year with Minnesota. He had 31, but this time the curveball, the overhand curveball, the drop gets him.
Whereas to go with just 2 pitches, you've got to have 2 overpowering pitches as Ryan does.
You got to be able to throw him for strikes as Dusty Baker takes it outside, ball 1. He's got a 12-game hitting streak going. That's what the late and great Bill Meyer, manager of Pittsburgh, used to call it, Uncle Charlie. Here it comes. Swung late, right to Phil Garner. It's going to be an easy inning for the Astros.
Hello, my name is Tony Scott of Houston Astros and first place Astros, and I'm going to give out the starting lineup of the day. Batting leadoff in right field is Terry Poole. Hitting second is Phil Gardner. Hitting third, myself in center field, Tony Scott. Hitting fourth is Terrell Cruz, our left fielder. And hitting fifth is Alan Ashby. They call him the Smash Ashby. He's hot right now, and he's going to be swinging a good bat today. And hitting sixth is Art Howe playing third base. And hitting 7 is Harry Spillman. He's my man, Spillman. And hitting at shortstop, hitting 8th is Craig Reynolds. And batting 9th is the pitcher Nolan Ryan with hard gas, and you will be seeing him throwing real hard today.
Nice
hard gas. Yeah, he's really up all the time.
Ted Power, a hard thrower. He says he has 3 pitches, but rarely uses a changeup. Beaten by Cincinnati last week. His only win came against the San Diego Padres.
It's ball 2. Poole and Scott really interchanged in the batting lineup. They thought Poole would be the RBI man, but when he was hitting third, he kind of pressed to drive in the runs, and Scott was driving him in from the leadoff spot. One out.
Nolan Ryan, who's been such a good pitcher, they feel they may have to win this game. They were wiped out by Hooten last night as shutout, and tomorrow they face Valenzuela.
Geoff Cross. Used to be Cardinal country. Garner draws the base on balls. He's on. And just as a footnote on what you said about Garner, Deacon Jones telling me that Scott and Garner really stabilized the effectiveness of left-hand pitching against him since Scott is a switch hitter. There goes Garner. Here's the throw. Safe. Oakland's a half game behind Kansas City, but with the split season, obviously, Kansas City's only worried about Minnesota. Oakland's already in. He got him on a curveball, a beauty. He fouls it down the left field line. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Garner at second, no score.
Breaking ball, 3-2.
Here is Ashby. 4 home runs, 30 runs batted in, hitting .281, and Deacon Jones has been working with him. He's got a new stance, 17 for 23 since the change. Here's the pitch. Line drive right at Davy Lopes. He hit it right at him. Now there's a guy with a dandruff problem. The guy with the glasses behind him doesn't have it, just put his hat on, but this guy.
There are some cities who have not gotten caught up in the pennant race around the league, but Houston certainly has. We saw it last week in Boston. They certainly have.
Tennis players, all 4. He walked him. So Garvey's on. Brings up Guerrero, who's hitting .304 with 12 home runs, 44 runs batted in. There he goes. Struck him out. Here's the throw. Safe.
So the curveball.
A breaking ball. It certainly was a curveball and a beauty.
Got the inside position. More American League umpires are going to that position also. I think the importance of the mini-series, and again, if the integrity of the game is in question.
The umpires won 10% of the first 3 games. Players won it, but they don't want the coaches and managers included. 3 balls and no strikes on Mike Socha. Steve Garvey is on at second base, no score. He didn't get it. 3-2 to Socha. Curveball, he got it, no doubt about it. And here's Ron Renicky, born in Covina, California in 1956.
Now, let me see, 9-game winning RBIs, 15 home runs, 94 runs batted in 126 ball games.
Gets by Ashby, there goes Garvey. He scored a wild pitch.
Well, this is not unusual for Nolan Ryan.
It's popped straight up. Nord Howe will fight the window panes and foul territory, makes the play. It's a tough ceiling here. So that ends the inning. We go into the bottom half of the second inning. There is no score. And coming to bat, it'll be Howe, Spillman, and Reynolds. Art Howe will lead it off, and quickly we'll take a look at last night's results. California 11, Toronto 5, and Chicago beat Oakland 6-2. Those were last night's results as Howe hits a high hopper to the shortstop, Darryl Thomas, and there's 1 away. He said that the artificial surface makes it tough on him as we look at Harry Spillman. And after the season, Russell will have surgery. Ron Say is out. They've got a lot of injuries, these Dodgers. Spillman hits the first pitch to Davy Lopes. There are 2 away. Here's Craig Reynolds.
Reynolds taking a lot of time after 2 quick outs. He wants to give Nolan Ryan a little bit breather on the bench.
Extra bases for Reynolds. It may be 3. He's going to try it. And he'll make it easily. And this is a good doubles and triples ballpark.
Making it tough on himself, isn't he? 3-2 on Nolan Ryan.
He walked in. He walked in. Third base on balls given up by Power. 2 strikes on Terry Poole. Line drive, and what a play by Garvey. He hit a bullet. Garvey playing behind, as Tony pointed out. It's 0-0, Dodgers in Houston, but in Detroit, Milwaukee and Detroit are having a battle. Let's see what's happening in Detroit.
For those of you joining us now from the Dodger-Houston Astros game, Merle Harmon and Ron Luciano with you in Detroit, where the Brewers lead the Tigers by a score of 1-0 in the bottom of the 3rd. Kirk Gibson batting, 3-2 count, tying run at 3rd. Struck him out, and the inning is over. So Moose Haas comes up with a very big strikeout, and Gibson, who has led these Tigers in the second half of the season.
Back here at the Astrodome, Darryl Thomas with the count of 1 ball and 2 strikes, the leadoff man here in the top half of the 3rd inning, no score.
500 lifetime in his career, but he hadn't played with very good ball clubs at times.
It's the second walk given up by Nolan Ryan. 2-strike pitch. Curveball misses. Hopped in the air, foul. That's a strikeout. That's a 4th strikeout for Nolan Ryan. So 1 man out. Davy Lopes with Darryl Thomas on at first base. So you've got a hit-and-run combination as we take a look at the Dodger bench. Jim Russo, the Baltimore Super Scout, an interesting theory that Lou Brock confirmed on base stealers. Almost had him. That was pretty close. That was the good move and the good throw. There he goes. Struck him out. Low throw. He's safe. baby. You sit back there. You can't blame Ashby. He's got to get a strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes. He got him. Davey Lopes. That's a 5th strikeout for Nolan Ryan. He doesn't believe it. Here's Kenny Landreau. He was called out on strikes as Lopes heads back to the bench.
The starting position, not a very natural position. Throwing a baseball overhand.
Foul back again. And there you see the strikeouts.
Valenzuela, who will go tomorrow for the Dodgers. Carlton, who broke the record, National League strikeout record.
Here's the 3-2 pitch once again. He walked in. It's a third base on balls given up.
5 or 6 Dusty Bakers on a team, and I'll win you a lot of pennants. I'll take this guy over a lot of those players.
Right at the second baseman, Garner. That ends the inning. The Astrodome, 0-0. 2 balls and no strikes on Phil Garner.
15 days after the conclusion of the season.
Left field is going to drop for a base hit. So Garner is on. So the leadoff man is on. It brings up Tony Scott, who was called out on strikes his first time up.
He's gone.
Pitch out. They should get him.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, very
Oh,
close.
yeah.
Phil thought that he had his foot on the bag and the tag was up high.
Scott right back up the middle. Darryl Thomas bobbles it. Can't get it. Scott is on. Let it be a little bit, unless he was about 70% sure. It's 2 balls and 1 strike with 1 out. You play manager at home. What do you think? He's holding. High hopper over Garvey's head. Scott may be able to score. Up with the ball is Renicky. Scott is going to be held at third. Dave Goltz loosening up, and Bobby Castillo plays the protection man in case of the line drive hit down there. A base hit. 1 run is in. Here comes Cruz. Astros lead 2-0. Right field deep. Way back goes Renicky.
Look out.
Ashby kind of nonchalant it back, and Renicky made a believer out of him as he went sliding back to first. Harry Spillman hit the first pitch the last time up and bounced out. Straightaway center field. Landreau has plenty of room. He makes the catch. That ends the inning. But it's a good inning for Houston. They scored 2 runs. Ashby driving in both runs. And at the end of 3 innings, the score here, Houston 2, Dodgers 0. Astros 2-0 as we go into the 4th inning, and Steve Garvey will lead it off. Garvey, who has played in 937 consecutive games.
5th on the all-time list. Well, here's another 3-2 count. Noli going to go breaking stuff. He's done it a couple times today in this situation. Fastball.
He got him with the fastball in the grunt. 6 strikeouts. We'll not say anything, and you just listen. Our field microphone will pick it up. You heard it that time. He jammed him. Fly ball to right field. Guerrero. Sosha. It's kind of interesting. Let's see if we can pick up that grunt on Sosha, because he should give him a fastball. I would think he'd start him out with a fastball.
Noli really hasn't had, from what we've heard about him this year, we haven't seen him pitch this year.
Strike
He's
one.
not had the kind of control they've been talking about.
But
Cheo Cruz in left field. Jose.
1 strike to count. Brian throws a fastball. You'd have to think it would be outside the strike zone to set up the 2-2, which would be a curveball. Let's see what happens.
Fastball. Wow.
Way high and outside, and he got him.
Whoa, that
That's
ball
7
exploded.
strikeouts. It really just went sailing out there. 2-0. Houston leading the Dodgers. We're in the bottom half of the 4th inning here at the Astrodome.
A little culture since you heard those opera singers before the game last night.
High chopper to Davy Lopes. There's one out.
Remind you, next week on our Game of the Week, we really haven't picked a game yet because there are so many things happening in so many divisions. Some of the other kids down there.
Tony, it hasn't gone on the scoreboard. Yes, just went on now. Ryan lines one into right center field. Landro cuts it off. Ryan has himself a base hit. So there's one out, one man on. Here's Terry Poole. He bounced out in the first inning and lined hard to Garvey in the second.
Terry Forster, he's a left-hander, and Dave Goltz, the right-hander.
Tom Lasorda, Danny Ozark.
Going away again. Pitch him away, play him away.
He hit that one in the hole. Ryan stops at second. Poole is on at first. One man out. And the batter is Garner.
Could be it for the kid.
Pelican Rapids, Minnesota. Dave Goltz. He inherits a situation of Nolan Ryan on at second base. Poole is on at first base. Garner is the batter. One man out. Bottom of the fourth. Houston's out in front 2-0. Garner walked his first time up, stole a base, singled in the third inning, but then was out trying to steal.
Defensively.
High hopper to Guerrero. He goes to second. There's one out. There's no throw by Davy Lopes. Scott was called out on strike, safe on an error, and scored in the third. Right back up the middle. Goltz has it. Easy toss to Garvey. So Goltz does the job, puts out the fire.
Dodgers, no runs, no hits. They've committed one error. The Astros, 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors. Could be trouble in the right field corner, but Terry Poole's there. They get the semi-line drive off the bat of Reineke. Now it'll be Darrell Thomas. Thomas walked in the third and stole a base. One out. Ryan pitched to Darrell Thomas. He barely got a piece of the breaking ball. Hard Howe over to Spillman, out number 2. So now we will have a pinch hitter for the Dodgers. It'll be Jack Perconti, little second baseman. Perconti hit a cool .346 this year in the minor leagues with 1 home run and 58 runs batted in. Nolan Ryan gets strikeout number 8. So he will go into the 6th inning still with a no-hitter in his sight. Tony Siegel, there are the Forster stats. Coming off the arm problems he's had year in and year out. 2 balls, no strikes to Cheo Cruz. Tony Siegel, one of the assistants, came over from Milwaukee a couple of years ago.
Baseball all his life, been a big help in rebuilding his club.
Broke the bat, but it could be trouble. Reineke over, takes it on a big hop. So Cruz is out. He's been on base 3 times today. A walk in the first inning, a double in the third. He scored a run, and now a single to right field. Ashby will turn around to the right side after driving home 2 runs, 2 RBIs. The only 2 runs in this ball game from the left side. He may be bunting. He's a better hitter left-handed than right. He's hitting. Drill to left field. Dusty Baker back to the warning track. He makes an outstanding catch, and Cruz will have to return to first.
Here's a look at it once more.
Joe, I think when you look where Dusty Baker started from, he was playing a very shallow left field for Al Ashby. We're in the bottom of the 5th with 1 out. 1 ball, no strikes on Howe. In 1980, Cruz had 36 stolen bases in 47 attempts. I've got to believe something's wrong with his leg. Cruz is going. Low pitch from Forster. He steals his 5th base of the year. What a jump he had on Forster. Forster saw him going. Cruz continues to have a good day. A walk, a double, a run scored, a single, a stolen base. Jose Cruz has been getting a pretty big lead. Don Leppert, the third base coach, has been helping him out by watching the shortstop, Darrell Thomas, in the event of a pickoff play. Ground ball, Thomas to his right. He'll have a long throw. He pulls Garvey, almost pulls Garvey off the bag. Now Joe Pittman will pinch hit for Harry Spillman. Pittman, a right-handed hitter, Spillman left. 1 ball, 1 strike off Forrester. Slider inside, pickoff attempt. Ball gets by. Cruz will not be able to go to third base. It's a difficult play for Lopes, having to take a hard throw from the catcher on the run. Now you see Cruz trying to scramble, but he can't make it.
He got a bad start out of the blocks.
Chopper going to be trouble. Daryl Thomas will have to hurry. Guerrero tries to cut it off. Cruz, nice play by Davey Lopes, Joe. Cruz had thoughts of coming home all the way from second base, but Lopes came over from the second base spot and backed up the play and saved the run. Now with runners at first and third and 2 outs, it'll be Craig Reynolds. Pittman has 4 stolen bases in 8 attempts. He's thrown out. Ground ball. Daryl Thomas will go to first base to Garvey. So Forster pitches out of it after 5 here in the Astrodome. All right, thank you, Merle and Ron Luciano back here in the Dome. There's your score. Houston 2, Los Angeles nothing. Davey Lopes leading this inning off, runs the count to 2 balls and 2 strikes off Nolan Ryan, who has 8 strikeouts and allowed 3 walks. He just blew it by him. You bet the appeal goes down to the first base umpire, Joe West, so Nolan Ryan has strikeout number 9. Now it'll be Kenny Landreau, who was called out on strikes in the first inning and walked in the third. Off the fist, the breaking ball up high, but it broke so sharply, Garner will throw on Landreau. There are 2 outs. Dusty Baker. He's grounded out twice to second base.
Let up on that curveball and got an easy strike.
Another breaking ball, strike 2. Strikeout number 10 for Nolan Ryan. He still has a no-hitter. They are standing in the Astrodome for Nolan Ryan. We will go to the last of the 6th here in the Astrodome as Ryan in the back of your picture strikes out 10 with a score here. Houston 2, Los Angeles nothing. Nolan Ryan will lead off the bottom of the 6th for the Astros. He got a standing ovation when he came from the dugout to the on-deck circle and stepped in. Nolan Ryan. He has 4 no-hitters, tied with Sandy Koufax in that department. Forster gets Ryan for out number 1. Nolan Ryan has never pitched a no-hitter in the National League. It'll bring up Terry Poole. Houston with a 1.5 lead over the Cincinnati Reds. Ground ball, breaking ball from Forster, Lopes, Garvey, 2 outs. J.R. Richard, who has pitched 2 simulated ball games this year, and Bill Verdon was kind of thrilled, although he said at times he may not have his complete coordination back, but he's been able to hit those 2 simulated games. It's hard to get hitters to hit against him, I know that. Phil Garner, 1 strike from Forster. Astros lead 2-0. Good slider from Forster. He no-hit Baltimore. Forster gets Garner.
Nolan Ryan, he has struck out 10. He has walked 3. He is not allowed a hit. And Steve Garvey will lead it off. Time is called. Some lights are on in the press box, and the umpires are calling time. Strike 1, a curveball. Garner has it. Guerrero struck out and flying to right. Strike 1. Reynolds has it.
Whoa.
Got him. Here's Socia. He struck out in the 2nd, struck out in the 4th. Hit deep to right center field. Poole going back. He makes the catch. And that's the closest they've come to breaking a no-hitter. Ryan. 2-0 is the score when the bottom of the 7th. 2 strikes on Tony Scott. Popped up. Lopes is going out. Renicky coming in. Lopes says, I'll take it, and he does. And the Dodgers get some action in their bullpen.
Dave Stewart, young right-hander.
Here's Cruz, who's had a real good day. 3 balls and 1 strike to count. I'll tell you, Tony, he knows there's a no-hitter going on, because if his own teammates didn't tell him, Forster will make the play himself. Cruz is out. the opposition will provide that service. Ball one. This is Ashby. Now, we talked about the kick of the leg from the left side. From the right side, he does the same thing. 2 outs. He walked in. Ashby draws the base on ball. Foul, bounced out, flying to right, bounced to the shortstop in the 5th. He's 0 for 3. 2-1 pitch. High hopper to Guerrero. He's going to go to Lopes. The force is on. So that ends the inning. Nolan Ryan going into the 8th inning has a no-hitter. He's facing Ron Renicky. Hopped up. Cruz. Reynolds. Cruz. Jay Johnstone will be the batter for Terry Forster. Hot shot. Garner has it. 2 outs. Jay Johnstone, the pinch hitter. 2 outs here in the 8th. Ryan. Bouncing ball to Garner. Should be easy. He goes into the 9th inning with a no-hitter. Listen to the crowd. So we go to the bottom of the 8th. 2-0 Houston. Nolan Ryan with a no-hitter, and we'll be right back, and I know you will. Dave Stewart is the new pitcher. Walling is the batter. Walling, who came on when Pittman was the pinch hitter for Spillman. He walked in. Greg Reynolds is the batter. It gets by Socia. Walling will go down to second base. Let's see how they rule it. It's a wild pitch. Bouncing ball. Davey Lopes can't get it. Run will score. Heading for second is Reynolds. He'll make it. Nobody out. Reynolds at second, 1 run in. 3-0 Astros. Bunted to Garvey. Beautifully. They're going to put the left-hand batter Terry Poole on and pitch to Phil Garner. The 5 final score. Baltimore and the Yankees play tonight. Chicago started. White Sox then scored. It's 0-0 in the second. Minnesota beat Texas 7-3. Lopes, Landro, and Baker in the 9th to get it. Line drive, left field. A base hit. Here comes Reynolds. Stopping at second is Poole. It's 4-0. And here comes Tom Lasorda out of the dugout once again. He's going to make a change. He's got his young left-hander, Steve Howe, loosening up down in the bullpen. Joe Garagiola with Tony Kubek. Tony is down behind home plate because we're sitting in on the Nolan Ryan story. Dave Stewart, and he faces Tony Scott with base runners at first and second. Right field. Renicky's back, tagging up his Poole, makes the catch, he holds. Renicky made a believer of Poole last night. He tried that play and he was out easily. Steve Howe, there you see the statistics on the young left-hander. All finals. Line drive, base hit, no doubt about this one. Renicky charges hard, run will score. Holding at second is Garner, it's 5-0. Cruz has had some afternoon. He walked in the first inning. He doubled and scored in the 3rd. He singled and stole a base in the 5th. He bounced out in the 7th. He has singled to drive in a run here in the 8th. And this is Ashby, batting right-handed once again. He's hit the ball hard. It's away from Socia. There goes Garner. He'll make it. We've had 2 wild pitches. Let's see how they rule this one. Base runners at second and third. Well hit to left field. Baker's going back. Back, has room, makes the catch. So that ends the inning, and it sets up the ninth, where Nolan Ryan has Davey Lopes, Kenny Landreau, and Dusty Baker. Here we go. Three balls, one strike, one out. Many would consider this the toughest man in the lineup to get out. Dusty Baker.